Hey, Covenant Creative Arts family, Jonathan here. Just wanted to share a few thoughts with you today, hopefully share some encouragement. And to do that, I'm actually going to steal an idea from another video that I had seen recently that really just impacted me and I think is so perfect for thinking about what we do when we lead worship. But it actually pulled from this movie, I don't know if you've seen or not, The Prince of Egypt. This is a movie that came out 20 some odd years ago, and it's based on the story of Moses, his growing up and how he becomes the leader that brings Israel out of slavery in Egypt and that whole Exodus story. So it's an interesting movie, but there's a big song in that movie called When You Believe. In fact, you might have heard the song even if you've never seen the movie. And it goes, "There can be miracles when you believe." Probably heard it. If you haven't, you can look it up and give it a listen. In the movie version, the singers are, it's sung by the actors that play the parts, which is Sally Dworsky and Michelle Pfeiffer. And then there's a kids chorus that comes in. And so that's the movie version, but then they also made a kind of really polished, professional studio version that they used Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston were the two singers on that. And there's a professional choir that comes in on that, and just two very different versions of the same song. And this was the line that really struck me that I heard. He said, when I hear Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey sing When You Believe, I am 100% convinced that these are two of the most phenomenal female vocalists that have ever sung. However, when I hear Sally Dworsky and Michelle Pfeiffer and the kids chorus sing this song, I'm 100% convinced that God can do miracles when we believe. And those are two very different reactions to have to the same song, right? And it just, to me, it just illustrates what we're doing when we lead worship. We're not, we say all the time, it's not a performance in the sense that we're not trying to get people to look at us, to look at our music, our lights, our projection, all of our stuff, and admire that. We're trying to get people to look through all of that and worship God. And so there is a verse in Matthew 5 that I think talks about this perfectly, which is that, this is a part of the Sermon on the Mount, and Jesus is talking about how we are salt and how we are light. And he says, in the same way, let your light shine before men, so that they can see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. So the purpose is not for people to see our good deeds and be impressed by us. The purpose is for us to let our light shine so that people can glorify their Father in heaven. And one of the ways that I like to think about leading worship, just as a way of an analogy, is the difference between a piece of artwork and a window. So like a piece of art, its purpose is to have people look at it and to draw your attention to it and to admire it. Whereas a window, the goal is not to look at the window. The goal is to look through the window and to see what's on the other side and have an encounter with something on the other side of that window. A lot of churches use stained glass windows, especially older churches. It's not something that people do as much anymore, but the whole purpose of stained glass windows was for you to see some depiction, some scene from the Bible or something that you're supposed to see and worship God through that. You see the light coming in from the other side, and there's a beauty there that you're not just stuck on like looking at a window, but you're worshiping God through whatever's being depicted in that window. And so, we don't have a lot of stained glass windows in this building, but really this area up here, this is the stained glass window of our church. What happens here with the sounds that we make, the words that we put up, the lights that we shine, all of the stuff that we're doing is aimed at becoming basically our version of a stained glass window that people can see and hear, and the words that we're speaking are all basically an invitation to look through and to worship God through all of that. I hope that makes sense. Another way of thinking about this would be like leading worship is kind of like being a tour guide, where if you wanted to take people somewhere to see some incredible natural beauty. The point of taking them there would be so that when you get there, you get out of the way and they can look at the thing. And, sometimes we can get stuck thinking, if we're a tour guide, we can get stuck thinking, hey, people are here to look at me. People are not here to look at us. People are here to look at whatever we're leading them towards. And so it reminds me of even that, verse, Paul talking about, hey, imitate me, follow me as I'm following Christ. And so, that's a lot of why we do what we do when we lead worship. So you might think, like, why do we practice? Why do we, if it's all about people, kind of ignoring us and just worshiping God, why do we put so much effort into having it sound good, having it look good, knowing our parts, all that kind of stuff? And, the answer is we want to make sure our window is, one, an accurate depiction of God and who he is. We want to make sure that we don't have any smudges on our window. We want to make sure there's no blockages. We want to make sure there's no distractions. We don't want people to come to worship God but be thinking about, well, why did that worship leader do that the entire time? That would be a fail. So our goal is really to become like the movie version of When You Believe, or like that stained glass window, or like that tour guide that knows when to step out of the way and let you see the thing that you came to see. I hope that helps to shed some light on some of our philosophy behind worship and why we do what we do. I pray you would be encouraged with that, and especially as we are moving into next week is Holy Week. Pray that the Lord would just impress this on our hearts. And also, I'll end with a quick plug. If you're a singer, we would love to have you with us for Easter Sunday. We want to have as many people up on the platform as we possibly can, just worshiping the Lord together. So I hope that encourages you guys, and I will see you soon.